So let's talk about something I think we've all done at some point: emotional spending, retail therapy. But what if I told you it has way less to do with willpower and a whole lot more to do with what's going on deep inside your brain?
I mean, have you ever had one of those days where everything just feels heavy, kind of off? And then, almost on autopilot, you're online and you're hitting buy now on something you don't even really need. It feels like a mistake, but it's not. It's actually a pretty complex psychological response. And we're about to break down the 5 biggest reasons why our brains do this.
Okay, first up, your brain on shopping. This is all about the dopamine rush, which is basically your brain's own internal reward system.
So, our brains have this amazing network that's designed to reward us. When we do something good, like learn a new skill or solve a tricky problem, it releases dopamine, that classic feel-good chemical. It's basically your brain giving you a little pat on the back. But here's the thing. When you're feeling sad or down, that whole system kind of slows down. Your brain starts to feel starved for that positive feedback. And what's a super fast, easy way to get a hit? Shopping. Just the act of searching for something, making a choice, and clicking buy, it creates this temporary spike of dopamine. Your brain doesn't just see a new sweater, it sees a quick, reliable way to feel good again. But it's not always just about feeling good. Sometimes it's about feeling in control. And that brings us to reason number 2, a really cool psychological idea called the locus of control. So having an external locus of control is this feeling that life is just happening to you. You're not really in the driver's seat, you're just along for the ride. And when we're feeling sad or overwhelmed, that feeling can get really, really strong. And this right here is the fundamental difference. On one side, you're a passenger, and on the other, you're the pilot. When you're stuck in that life is happening to me headspace, your brain is just desperately searching for a way to grab the steering wheel, even for a second. And that's where spending comes in. It is a decisive, deliberate action. You choose the item, you authorize the payment, you are in charge. In a world that feels completely out of your hands, that one small purchase can create this powerful, yeah, maybe artificial, but still powerful sense of control. And that leads us perfectly into our third point. We're not just looking for control. Sometimes we are actively trying to change our emotional state. It's all about emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is basically our brain's ongoing project to keep things balanced. But when we're in a really low state, feeling kind of flat, numb, or just disconnected, our nervous system starts craving a jolt. It wants anything to feel something different. So what's more exciting than getting something new? That purchase becomes a mental shortcut. It's a way for you to manually regulate your own mood, to pull yourself out of that emotional ditch and get back to neutral, or maybe even feel a little high for a bit. Now, on the flip side, sometimes it's not about finding a high, it's about avoiding a low. This is our fourth reason: using spending as the ultimate distraction, like a shield to protect us from feelings we just don't want to deal with. Think of it this way. You know how some people treat their birthday like it's no big deal? They're trying to avoid the potential disappointment if it doesn't live up to expectations. That's a protection mechanism. Well, in the same way, spending money can be a strategy to turn down the volume on sadness. And this sets up a really powerful distraction loop. It starts with feeling sad, so you buy something. But it's not over. Now your brain has a new project: tracking the package, waiting for it to show up, thinking about the unboxing. All of that logistical stuff keeps your mind busy and successfully distracts you from that original uncomfortable feeling you were trying to escape. Okay, on to our fifth and final reason, and honestly, this one often goes the deepest. For a lot of people, this whole pattern is actually rooted way back in their childhood, in a concept called parentification. Parentification is when a child has to grow up too fast. They have to take on adult responsibilities, becoming the mature one, the strong one, way too early. The long-term damage here is that you learn to just push down your own needs. You stop asking for help because you were always the one giving the help. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. When you've spent your entire life being the rock for everybody else, a purchase can feel like an apology to yourself. It's a little moment of acknowledging all that hard work. So fast forward to today. As an adult, when you're burnt out, exhausted, and sad, that inner child is finally asking to be taken care of. But because you've become so incredibly self-reliant, spending money can feel like the only way you actually know how to give yourself that comfort you desperately need. So let's tie all of this together. If any of this is ringing a bell for you, here is the single most important thing to remember. You are not bad with money.
Your brain and your nervous system are simply using a strategy that they learned, an adaptation, to cope with really difficult feelings.
The real power, the real change, comes from shifting your perspective. The moment you stop blaming yourself and start getting curious about the why, about the underlying patterns, that's when you can start making different, more empowered choices. It all starts with awareness. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you know the why behind the spending, what's one small thing you could do that doesn't involve shopping to give your brain what it's actually looking for? Whether that's a hit of dopamine, a sense of control, or just a little bit of comfort. What would that look like for you?